I guess. Let's to a guy by the name of Antonio Moore. He's an attorney. He's got an account called Tone Talks. Catch him here and there. Guy's pretty much on point from what I've seen. He spoke on something that touched my heart this afternoon. He talks about like generational wealth and let's get to the point. I like him because everything he says builds on other things he's already said. Meaning that he's not changing this. He's not changing things as he goes. He said years ago that black people don't have no wealth. We have celebrity, which means we got niggas that can sing and dance, clap their hands, and make white people and Jews laugh. Well, tonight he talked about how we didn't have boomers that had life insurance and saved money and talked about money and how black folks don't really understand how money works. And he talked about something that I said years ago that Obama was Kenyan and white. His mother was white. I love listening to guys like him because he says things that unlock other things that I may have forgotten about. Obama's mom was white. I think he was going to college in Hawaii. He was like $200 a year or something. He had somebody in his family was a Harvard legacy, which helped him. Everything in his life was led up to be a senator. Everything led up to be a president. Everything led up to be president of the Harvard Law Review. Not to take away from him, but if he hadn't failed, if he'd messed up, he got no one to blame but himself. That isn't a story for most black men. It just hasn't. Which for black people to celebrate Obama becoming president, it didn't mean anything for most black people. It didn't mean a single thing, other than maybe he would, the 21st century policing stuff. I've talked about it here that a lot of that stuff is this investigation. Those cops didn't go to jail. A lot of it was investigation of things that happened. I think that he talked about how black people haven't been taught politics, which is, I agree. And I just want to give my little unique take on my opinion of it because he's right. He's right. 20 years ago, when I was 13, 12 years old, whatever, there wasn't nothing going on really to be political. You had COVID, you had SARS come through, didn't reach America. You had Katrina, and that was really it. You had 9/11 back in 2001. You had the '08 recession, but there were no real major events going on in the 2000s like that. To where it's okay, now, you had Trump. You got Trump talking about how he wants to come back in a retribution, and he wants to hang generals and put people in jail. They said something on Obama, but he never did that. He was going to do that. They said, before I go any further, they said Obama was going to create death panels. I hope we're responsible for what they've said. They said Obama was going to have death panels for the Obamacare. And you literally had Republicans during COVID saying grandparents have to die. They have to die basically for the economy. I love the hypocrisy the right has. That the very same thing they accuse us of 5 years later do the same thing. And no, there are no Republicans that are like, wait a minute. He just said that a year ago they would do it, and now they're doing it. Look, when I was a teenager, young man, there were no major events. You could still just have a little job and make a little money and have fun. And, you could still do that then. And now, you had Ebola. You had a disease that was hiding in the man's eyeball, and he didn't know it. And then they didn't clean the ambulance in Dallas for like 2 weeks after that. They were driving around with the ambulance that the guy that had Ebola was in. You had COVID, which can hide in the body, and that keeps evolving. We don't know what's going to come on with that. You're living in a very different, rapidly changing era. Automation is coming, and you didn't have the automation back when I was a teenager. It's a changing world. And so some of that ignorance of politics is because we didn't have to have it back then. There was no existential threat to like, hey, your friggin' job might get automated by the end of the decade. There wasn't going on. There was all talk. Hey, they might have driving cars eventually. They might have. That wasn't going on as a kid. So he's got a point, and he's right as far as he says how Zoomers, the next generation, is going to look at us as we didn't save any money for them. We're just burdens. We're just someone to be buried and put in a home and taken care of, and there's no monetary. We didn't plan for them. He's right. He's correct. Whereas my mama, plenty of people I grew up with had houses. Plenty of black people I went over to their homes had houses. They had wealth. They had cars and stuff owned. Yeah, he's right. We don't have that now. He's right. And how, as he said before, we don't have wealth. We have celebrity. We have glitz and glamour and baubles and trinkets and signets of rank. They're just stardust. There's nothing to it. And trying to keep up with people who have had money left down to them. That's a fool's bargain, isn't it?